Hey, let's try this again. This is the F&E podcast, and I'm your host, Akili Paige, bringing you your finance morning show. I apologize for the inconvenience, how late it is right now, but we all had stuff to finish. So here we go. Let's see. Let me see if I could get this. Bear with me while I get everything set up for all the platforms. Okay. I think. Boom. All right. Good morning, folks. Again, I'm going to reintroduce myself because I had to get it going and live on all platforms, and we are live on all platforms right now. So, again, this is the F and E podcast, bringing you the Finance Morning Show, and I'm your host, Akili Paige. What we will be going over today, we'll be talking about ownership versus renting. Okay, so this show right here, we're going to dive in, talk about the benefits of ownership and benefits of renting, the cons of renting, and the cons of ownership. So, first, a couple of key factors you want to factor in when you making decisions about ownership or leasing. Okay, do you want to control? Do you want control and long-term value? Okay, do you need flexibility and lower upfront costs? Are you planning to stay put or upgrade often? And do you want to build equity and avoid commitment? Okay. So a little bit like a couple of these things, you use on the daily to figure out if you want to be a person who fall under ownership or if you want to be a person who fall under renting. Right now, I'm in between both. I own a little bit of everything that I have, and I also do rent right now as well. So, but for me, I want to control my long term value, okay? Because everybody can make money in the present, meaning there's plenty of ways to go outside. You can go outside and get a job, you can go outside and rate leaves, cut grass, you can do whatever. Okay, you go outside and detail cars, whatever you feel, and you can go make money that way. That's short term. You'll be able to do that day to day. But in the long term, how are you controlling the money that you're making? So me more so, I go with the long term route because short term only lasts but so long. Okay, so now we talking about let's talk about home. Let's talk about homes. Let's talk about houses. Okay, so this is we're just gonna go straight down. We're gonna go down ownership and we're gonna go down renting and leasing as well. Okay, so ownership. When you think about homes, you talk about owning a home. All right, your mortgage may be higher, but it's built towards your equity. So meaning they what banks do is our lenders they'll they'll go off how much the house is worth and how much you make to come up with your mortgage payments. Okay. Whatever your mortgage payments are, you pay that the until your loan is paid off. or until your house is paid off. Some people get loans to cover their house payments. Some people use their own funds to cover the down payment of a house and their mortgage payment through the house. But 9 times out of 10, you still will have to go through a lender and a bank to get approved to buy a house. Now, leasing, and this is just monthly, okay? Rent is often lower, but you have no equity, meaning everything in that house belongs to the owner. You're just renting everything that you put inside of, well, that's inside of that house. Okay? So when you talk about, let's go back down ownership, and you talk about upfront costs, you have lower down payments and you have closing costs when you buy a house. Okay? So you have to factor in the down payment and the closing costs when you're purchasing a house. Okay? And when you're renting, no matter where you're renting at, you're going to have to pay a security deposit and the first month's rent. That's pretty much mandatory everywhere in the United States, as far as I know. So, you know, when you start making decisions, you just got to think about these things, because some people don't mind paying down payments and closing costs. Some people don't mind paying security deposits and first month's rent. It just depends on if you want to grow your equity while you're paying your rent or your mortgage. So we're still talking about homes too, okay? And inside homes, we're going to talk about the freedom, full control. This is when you own a home. You have full control over renovations and use, meaning you can use your home in any type of way that you feel like it. You can renovate it, you can build on it, you can knock it down and build another one. It's yours. Okay? So you get the freedom to do just about anything. Pets, just anything that you would want in your home, you can provide if you're owning it. Now, when you're leasing and renting a home, you have to live by the lease terms. Okay, and on your lease, it's a couple of rules, a lot of rules actually, when you're renting a house. So, um, just the full freedom, just the full freedom of owning a house may be more beneficial to a person than leasing a house. Now, stability for owning a home, you have long-term residence. That means that would be your place of residence until you feel like selling your house or moving on to the next house that you want. Um, and predictable payments. Your payments will never change. It never changed. So you can predict that every month that your payment is going to be the same as it was the last month. Okay. Um, Now when you're renting, it's a little bit easier to move, but you're subject to a lease renewal and you're subject to an eviction when you're renting. Okay. When you're owning, can't nobody come kick you out that house because you own that house, unless you're not making the mortgage payments and the banks come buy the house back and your house goes up for foreclosure. Then you have to go through a whole process of you finding another home to live in. But ultimately, ultimately, the stability is in owning a home, because again, nobody could tell you to leave, and you don't have to keep on renewing your lease. Like sometimes when you renew your lease, you got to keep on showing proof of income and credit and background checks. Just that whole process, and application fees as well. That whole process can be stressful to a person or a family trying to move around the end of a lease. Okay. Now, wealth building, property may appreciate over time. This is owning. The house that you buy can appreciate value. If the neighborhood goes up, your house goes up in value too. If the city that you live in start to become a little bit more popular, your house may become more value. So again, owning a house may sound and may be a little bit better than renting and leasing, because when you rent and when you lease, you don't have no wealth building. There is no wealth building unless you're saving your own money and stuff like that. But that house, you don't that does not appreciate in your name. You will never get that reap the benefits from that because you don't own a house. So to me, owning a house is best for long-term financial plans and financial investments, and renting is more so for flexibility and short-term living. For people who's not sure of what the future is going to be, okay? So that's what owning a home, okay? And with me right now, I am on the side of the fence of renting, but I will cross that fence of owning soon. Okay, so I do encourage all my followers and supporters, all the people that do listen, get out there and try to get into your own home and stop paying people to live for free, basically. Basically, they get to live for free while you out here busting your tail to pay your rent. Okay, so for me, if my opinion, my financial advice, I would tell you to go into home ownership. Okay, let's get out of this renting phase. This is how they keep people stuck. This is how people stay in a certain class of wealth. You will not progress if you are stagnant in the same place of being comfortable renting a home. Okay, so we're gonna move on to cars. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing for cars. We're gonna go down the list of cars. Of owning a car and of leasing a car. Okay, because you can't rent a car. You can't rent a car, but that's car rentals. We talking about you actually having this car inside of your parking lot, like your garage and things like that. This is not a rental car. So we're gonna talk about leasing a car. All right. So now, as you may know, when you own a car, you're going to have higher down payments or a higher purchase when you're purchasing a vehicle. And really, we're not going to say a down payment because the down payment will cover the cost of the car. Okay, so you just have to think about how much that car costs when you're purchasing a vehicle. And there are vehicles out here that you can go purchase at a good price, that that will run just as good as a brand new vehicle if you search for it, okay? Because previously, I had a Honda Accord. My Honda Accord before it got back, they had 182,000 miles on it. But when we first got that car, the car only had 37,000 miles on it, and it was a rebuilt title from an accident that we had won on an auction. Okay, so you can buy salvage title cars, fix them, and these cars do run like brand new cars, just depending on the damage that happened to the cars um before that. I mean, at the accident. Okay, so leasing, we know leasing a car, you'll have lower initial fees, meaning you probably won't have to pay a down payment. You'll probably have to pay the first month's rent and the car insurance. But one thing is, when you lease a car, you have to have um full coverage, or I think they call it what, gap insurance now. Not sure because I haven't leased a car in a long time. Um, Monthly payments. Your monthly payments on ownership, they say it's higher, but the car is paid off, so there is no monthly payments when you purchase a car. The only thing you have to worry about is your monthly car insurance and your maintenance, and I guess things of that sort. Now, when you're leasing, they are lower monthly payments, but it's ongoing, meaning 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, 48 months, depending on how long your lease term is, your payments will be reoccurring every single month. Okay. They may be, we don't know how much, just depending on the credit. They use your credit score to determine the value of your monthly payment. So, if you have a better credit score, you probably would have lower payments than others. Now, customization on the car. You can customize a car that you own any type of way that you want. If you want to change the paint on it, if you want to put rims on it, if you want to change the stereo, put stereos in the trunk, whatever you feel like doing to that car, you are at free will to do anything that you want to do with that car. Um, when you're leasing a vehicle, again, there are lease terms. When you're leasing a vehicle, you can't do certain things to a vehicle. You definitely can't even have liability insurance when you're leasing a vehicle at, major dealerships. So, um, to me, I try to avoid things of that sort because you don't want nobody calling you for no payment. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got the money to pay it. So, in order to avoid that, what you do, you purchase the car in full. All right. Now, um, mileage limits, there is no mileage limits to me on either side. When you own a car, you could drive as much as you want. Now it's they I guess on certain lease terms you can only use some vehicles between 10 to 15,000 miles a year. Not really too sure about that because I never had to experience that. I never seen anybody experience that as well. So, and I never heard of it. So, if that is something new on lease terms, that's interesting to find out. The long term value of owning the car, you can own the car and you can sell the car. You can sell the car for more than it's worth, or you can sell the car for what you bought it at. You can sell the car for, a lower asking price than that you bought that car for. Now, leasing a vehicle, you cannot resell that car. You cannot resell that car. You can resell that car after that car is paid off, but that's after the terms, after the terms that you complete that lease term. Uh, so again, in my opinion, ownership wins again because you get the use for long term. You get the use for any type of mileage that you feel like doing. Um, Typically these cars may be a little bit older if you're purchasing them straight out. I'm It's not too many Americans out here purchasing vehicles, brand new vehicles, just straight cash. Um, so you probably will get like an older model, but again, if you have if you look up these models of the cars, you can get some of the same features in the older cars that's in these newer cars. So, to me, I would tell somebody to do their research first. Um, Go out there and just look what's available, look at what you like, what fits you, and make the best decision that help you out. But again, I say ownership. Buy your vehicle. Buy a vehicle. Do not try to stay away from leasing your vehicle. Now, I will say this: if it's convenient for you to lease the vehicle and you are more into newer models and you're only going to use the car for a short term and you're not going to be using it for a long term, then I would tell somebody, yeah, go lease it. Don't go get a vehicle that you don't want for the long term. But if you are leasing a vehicle, get a reliable vehicle. Okay. So, and here we go. We're going to do tech, and that's like your cell phones, your laptops, your TVs, everything of that sort. Anything that's that you use that's technical, electronic devices. Thing like let's do ownership and leasing of things of that. Okay. So the ownership is the cost over time, one time, or it's a one time or an installment purchase. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not ongoing payments. You know what I'm saying? It's only one payment when you're purchasing tech devices. When you're leasing them, and there are ongoing payments, and they're often long term. So, meaning these contracts might be 36 to 72 months instead of, a normal contract that you get from 12 to 48 or 12 to 24. Um, so, just think about that when you're trying to own and lease tech things. Your upgrade flexibility, you can choose when you want to upgrade when you own things. Okay. So when you own in, just any device, MacBook, um, for me, I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and they just came out with the 17. So if I wanted to upgrade my phone, I just go get my phone and be like, hey, let me get the upgrade. Um, when you're leasing phones, sometimes they're tied into a contract, and the lease cycle, sometimes you got to wait until a certain date that you're eligible to upgrade and things like that. You don't have to wait when you own your phone. Repairs is your responsibility under ownership. Under a leasing contract, you may be covered. I think they got the little phone insurance where you crack your phone, you can send it to them, they fix and things like that. But if you own your phone and you crack your phone, you got to actually take it to a place and get it fixed, and you have to pay for it. So, um, to me, tech is more so like a personal decision. My opinion probably wouldn't even matter on the tech side because, either way, you're going to try to decide what's best for you anyway. So, tech, try to make the best financial decision that help you out in the long run. Um, so, now the questions that we're gonna go back and answer the questions that I asked at the beginning of the podcast. Okay, so I asked, do I want to control and long-term value? Okay, so when you're making these decisions, do you want full control? Do you want the full value of what you're purchasing? Or are you okay with just enjoying it for the moment? You know what I'm saying? Like, looking good for the moment. You know what I'm saying? To me, and with my knowledge and, you know, just the guidance coming up, I would tell somebody, let's take control for the long term. Okay? I'm pretty sure we done all lived in short term instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? We done had satisfaction for a short term achievement. You know, like let's think long term longevity. Things that when you're 50, 50, 60 years old and you get to watch your kids prosper off of and your grandkids prosper off of. So for me, I'm always thinking long term. My mother, she was a short term master, you know what I'm saying? So, to to combat that, I think for the long term and I ain't never we never had people to teach us the value of long term assets. Okay? Our parents didn't have long term assets. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, that's if you come from that type of upbringing. Some people, parents do have long term assets. You know what I'm saying? So, and it do trickle down to the kids. So, again, the person that started that off was thinking about control and long term value. They didn't want to be under nobody else's control, and they definitely didn't want to keep on earning for short value gains. Okay, so do you need flexibility and lower upfront costs? This would be for the people that are leasing things. If your credit score is good, if you have the money and you're flexible, then I would tell you go ahead and take advantage of them lower upfront costs. Get what you like. enjoy what you like, upgrade, elevate yourself so that the next level you can step into ownership with the things that you like, okay? And not with the things that you like you're selling for. You know what I'm saying? I don't want none, like, we don't settle, okay? So that's that. Uh am I planning to stay put or upgrade often? Are you planning to stay put? Stay put mean, are you comfortable with the place that you're living in? Do you see yourself moving anytime soon? Like, is this place that you're staying put at, is it home? Or is it just temporary? Do you see yourself moving from state to state? Um, that's the things that you have to think about when you're trying to own or lease things. Okay, so if you're a person who tends to move from state to state, or upgrade cars every year, upgrade phones every year, and things like that, you might want to look into being a leasing person, because ownership probably won't do too good for you. You'll probably end up backed up behind somewhere because you done fell off on and slacked off on a couple of payments, and they done came and either took a car, took a house, took something, took something. All right. And do you want to build equity or avoid commitment? Everybody's goal in life should to be building equity. Okay. A lot of people don't like commitment. So, I have friends that avoid commitment. So if you one of them people that avoid commitments, uh build your equity. Okay. Build your equity, because at that point, you know, everything is solely on you. All right. I mean, everything is solely on you at that point. Um, so, you know, I want y'all to leave y'all opinions in the comments when this is posted. Y'all let me know, what do y'all think is better, ownership or leasing and renting? Okay. Said now, being that this part is over, that part is over. We done talked about ownership and leasing. We done talked about ownership and leasing. Let's get into a little bit of personal. I'll go through a little bit of personal experiences of owning and leasing things, and I just give y'all my own personal outlook. Again, I told y'all we'll be expanding these shows. On Wednesday, we'll have another finance show for the paid subscribers. You know what I'm saying? We'll go through there, and I'll teach you different strategies on, different tips and advice on how to choose between the two. Okay. Now, as I promised, I am going to give you the strategies of going into ownership today, because I did promise that yesterday. So, um, you know, and I'm gonna give it to you through personal experiences, so you kind of map it out on your own and go make decisions on your own and figure out things on your own. You know what I'm saying? Because me, we had people gatekeep us forever. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna do that here at the F&E podcast or AP Max Tax Services. Okay, so we're gonna elevate the next generation and the generation of people that we are in. So first, starting out, um, my first vehicle, my first vehicle was brought for me. Okay, um, it was bought for me because I graduated high school. All right, I graduated high school. Um, and I had got a Buick Vigo. Okay, I think it was a Buick Vigo, or it was a Buick. It was some type of Buick. All right. Um, at that point in time, I didn't know the worth of assets. I didn't know. I didn't know what. I didn't know what type of decisions to even think about making at that time. At that time, I was 17, going on 18. I wasn't really thinking about financial pressures and things like that because I was still, you know, with my great grandmother. Um, so I can't say that asset that I had, I blew it. Broke down on the highway coming back from getting some speakers. So that asset, I can't even really give you a strategy on how to get into ownership from that experience. I just give you that experience because that's how it started off. My next car, here you go. My next car was a Ziza Rodeo. Okay, it was a truck, and this was my strategy. Okay, everybody knows that if you go to school, you know what I'm saying, like you'll get a refund check. So after going to school for about a year and a half or 2 years and saving my refund checks, I went and used my refund checks to purchase my next vehicle. That's just one strategy. Okay, that's for students in school. If you use that strategy, I mean, hey, if you was a student without a car, that's the way to get a car. Um, it was a Ziza Rodeo. I wrecked that asset with my best friend back in Oakdale. Yeah, I wrecked that one back in Oakdale with my best friend, living out the best times of life. Okay. So, but with that asset, what I can say is I definitely got to use the customization. I definitely got the value out of it. We used the miles on it. Like I did a lot. I put the speakers in it with that car. So I got the full just of owning a vehicle in that vehicle. I got the that was pretty much my first vehicle that I got the experience where I didn't have nobody to tell me what to do on anything on that car. Um, then after that vehicle, I had got a Hyundai. A Hyundai. This was my first vehicle that I leased right here. Was my Hyundai. Okay. Now I had got this from a place called OK Cars, and if you had OK Cars and it's on your credit right now, dispute them. They'll drop it because OK Cars is no longer an entity in North Carolina. So, or in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the business was doing fraudulent transactions and stuff like that. So if you do have OK Cars, you can get that knocked off your credit. Um, that was the first car I leased. Now, I did get that car repo because I stopped making the payments on it. Okay, so that was the first time I felt that somebody else was in control of something that I thought I owned, and I really didn't own it. You know, even when you making payments, you think that is yours, but it's really not yours. They definitely come and repo people vehicles. Um, after that Hyundai, I then went from that Hyundai to I think I went from the Hyundai to the rodeo, but then from the rodeo, I think I went from the rodeo to the Camry. I had the Camry that I leased the Camry. I was working. I worked at can't remember where I was working at with the Camry, but I was at AutoZone. I was working at AutoZone with the Camry, paid the Camry off, and then I again that was something that I did not want to do, but I had to have a vehicle at that point in time, and um, I end up the asking price for that Camry was $3,999. I end up paying $5,438 after the lease. You know what I'm saying? After the contract lease. So again, you know, you just have to be smarter when you make decisions because ultimately that's a whole $1,300 that I paid extra than that was on the price of the vehicle. Um, if I was purchasing that car straight out, I could have given $4,000 straight out, and I wouldn't have had to pay nothing after that. I would've just got my insurance and and been riding. So after the Camry, I went to a Magnum, Dodge Magnum that was purchased. I did not lease that one. After the Dodge Magnum, I went and purchased another vehicle. I believe it was my Honda Accord. And after wrecking that Honda Accord, I purchased another Honda Accord that I currently have now. So with me, I use ownership in my vehicles because I like the full customization of things. I like the full control of things. I don't like nobody coming to pick things up or coming to take things when I feel like that car is mine. Okay. Now, of course, I told you I'm renting right now. I have not stepped into the realm of ownership in that sense. I do have one, two. I have actually four people around me that is in ownership though. I have four people around me in ownership. Um, and as I step into and get ready to step into ownership, the only strategy that I could really tell you that can help you get into owning a home is please start saving your money, getting your ducks in order, and knocking out dominoes as they go. Because if you fall by one domino, you'll be lagged behind, meaning you'll be stagnant. It'll take you a longer process than most. You know what I'm saying? I guess they say delayed and not denied, but again, just make sure. And then you have to make sure that you have the finances ready for purchasing a home as well. The banks don't want to see nobody that's not ready and unorganized. When especially when they, lending their money out for you to purchase a home. Okay. So that's another thing to think about. Um, like I told you, tech stuff, you that is really your own decision. I can't really tell nobody what to do or how to do. I can, you know what I'm saying? It's up to you to listen. It's up to you to try to figure out how that will help you in the long run. But most people not gonna listen to you when you tell them about tech devices and things like that because many people got it all figured out. They'll tell you, "Oh, I got that all figured out. I got it all figured out." And in my opinion, so let me tell you something. I'm gonna wrap this show up. Okay, I got go pick up my daughter in here in a few. Okay, now I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave this show on a couple of notes. All right. Now, first note I want to leave it on is I hope everybody started this week off productive. I hope this Monday this Monday you done made a couple of dollars, okay? And I mean a couple of dollars for you, not for the company you work for. All right. Um, life is a risk as it is, okay? Every day we wake up is a risk. All right. So whether you're risking it on small gains or whether you're risking it on big gains, please, please make sure that whichever way it is, that you're making the safest choice. Okay? Because the real value in life is health. The real value in life is happiness. Okay? These are things that money can't purchase. I can only tell you how to get money. So when you collect all these things that you'll have a fulfilling life. All right. So again, don't let nobody don't let nobody take your joy, your peace. Okay. Keep that. Um Next thing I want to let y'all know is that the economy is in a frenzy right now. Okay? The economy is in a frenzy. Please take care of your bills. No matter what's going to happen, they're not going to come save you from that. Okay? Like you have to, that's something you have control of. Take control of it. Just because, you know, federal workers is laid off and things of that sort, this is why people are supposed to have a side hustle, okay? This is why people are supposed to be entrepreneurs Because in the midst of a recession and things like that, become recession proof. And I don't even like the person that made that song, but if you ever heard Recession Proof by some artist, I forgot his name. I know his name, but I'm not gonna say it. If you know the artist's name and you heard Recession Proof, you have to learn how in desperate times, your equity is still gonna go up. In the frenzy of times, your equity is still gonna go up. A lot of people ain't got that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, if they didn't have the job that they have, if they didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like if work wasn't near them and they had to create their own work to make revenue, a lot of people can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So in any endeavor that you choose, whether it's welding, whether it's shout out to Damian Butler. I see him, he just started welding. You know what I'm saying? I see him up here practicing and stuff like that. Like a lot of people are supporting him in that. Shout out to that man right there. If it's house cleaning, shoot. Cousin-in-law got a house cleaning business. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? If y'all need your house cleaned, I don't even know the name of his business. I'll figure it out. Tag him in it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that are recession proof. No matter what, somebody's gonna call you. Whether it's one person a week, whether it's one person a day, whether it's one person a month, you got full faith and full control that you have to know somebody is gonna need your service. Okay? For my music goers out there, you know, if you're creating music right now, keep on going. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do that either, even if it's lame. Okay? I had lame music back in the day. Guess what? People used to laugh at it. Do you not know that's called comedy? I could have been a comedian. You know what I'm saying? Like people brain is so broad and narrow. Like you just have to open it up. You know what I'm saying? Like just gotta open it up. Because this world that we live in, you could have became anything that you wanted to be, but you sat right here and you wasted your time thinking about something somebody else is doing. Worried about how yours is gonna be better than the next. There's nobody better than the next person in this world. Ain't nobody better than nobody. We all were created equal. And if you don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. So again, I thank y'all for joining. This is the F&E podcast. I'm your host, Akili Paige. I got to go pick up my beautiful daughter from school. Hopefully she got daddy a pink today. Yo, take control of y'all life. Stop letting these people run y'all life. Stop letting these folks tell you you can and can't go on vacation. Okay, stop having to fill out for vacation. How about that? All right. What I challenge people to do is let's start creating our own currency and stop making money for other people. That's what I want to challenge people to do. That's the real challenge in life. How well can you stack your own money for yourself? Not too many people can do that. The people around me can, and they will. And if they ask me how to, I will direct them and provide them with a way to. Deuces, thank y'all for joining.